Ryan Day is changing the course in order to get over the Michigan hump. Ryan Day has done nothing but win since taking over as Ohio State head coach. He has a top 5 winning percentage in college football history. But the one thing that is his downfall is he has not been able to get over Ohio State's biggest rival, Michigan, and is still yet to beat the team up north. One of the things Ohio State's doing is a lot of players are returning. Trayvon Henderson, who a lot of people had as running back one in this upcoming NFL draft, came back. JTT is coming back, who was also a very well thought NFL prospect due to a lot of his tools. A lot of people may remember him from the Penn State game a couple years ago where he just single-handedly took over in the fourth quarter and won that game for Ohio State. Emeka Egbuka, who is a legit NFL receiver, is also coming back. So Ohio State has a lot of returning talent from last year's roster and the last couple of rosters. But Ohio State has done one big thing, and that is the transfer portal. If you were to ask Ryan Day, I don't think he would want to build a roster like this, but he was really left with no other way after this past season. And while they did kill it in the high school recruiting ranks, the transfer portal was really what Ohio State needed to attack and attack very well in order for them to get where they want. They brought in Seth McLaughlin, who a lot of people will know as the center from Alabama. And if you watch Alabama at all, and a lot of people watched the Rose Bowl against Michigan, he had some snap issues at center. There are some reports and rumors that he will move to guard as he can play both center and guard. And a lot of people project him as a better guard than center, and that would just tell from this past season of the snapping woes that did plague Alabama. On a little surprising note, Quinshon Judkins entered the transfer portal. He is the star running back from Ole Miss, and he joined Herschel Walker as the only two SEC running backs who have 10-plus touchdowns in their freshman and sophomore seasons. And he entered the portal, and there really wasn't a lot of love lost from either way between Ole Miss and Judkins. But the surprising thing was he went to Ohio State, and with Trayvon Henderson coming back, a lot of people didn't think that happened. But you got to look at this offense now, and they bring in Jonathan Smith, who was the number one high school recruit at receiver, and you have a two-headed monster in Trayvon Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. Ohio State literally has running back 1 and running back 2 for next year's NFL draft, and that's really crazy to think about. Ohio State, you always think about these last couple of years, especially in the Ryan Day era, this high-powered, high-scoring offense. But it really seems to be like Ohio State is going to get more to a ground-and-pound running style, which a lot of people knew with the old Big Ten. Not just because Ohio State has Trayvon Henderson and Quinshon Judkins coming in the portal. I think Ohio State's going to be leaning more into like a power game because of them getting quarterback Will Howard in the portal as well from Kansas State. Ohio State looked at multiple quarterbacks, including Cam Moore, the transfer from Washington State, who ends up going to Miami. Will Howard can play more of that power football. No, he's not going to throw for a ton of yards and wow you with his arm plays, but he can run the ball. And that's really, I think, what Ryan Day wants to get to. He wants to get more of that ground and pound that Ohio State used to be known for. And instead of putting up just 40 points and having to continue to score because your defense can't get that many breaks, Ohio State's going to look a lot different next year. They've killed the transfer portal, and yes, you could argue there are more talented quarterbacks than Will Howard. I think what Ryan Day and this Ohio State team is building for this upcoming season, Will Howard fits them perfectly. He has a ton of experience. He has records at Kansas State, and you can argue, no, it's not Ohio State, but setting school records is school records. Will Howard is more than capable of getting the job done, and in my opinion, it is a clear upgrade over Kyle McCord, who I think just got a bad rap at Ohio State, but this was an upgrade that needed to happen, and I'm excited to see this Ohio State roster with Will Howard at quarterback. The biggest add for Ohio State, though, in the transfer portal was star safety from Alabama, Caleb Downs. Nick Saban gave Caleb Downs a lot of praise last spring that he had not really given to a young player since Minkah Fitzpatrick. Caleb Downs is the best safety in college football. He will be a star in the NFL level. And all coming off his freshman year at Alabama, led the Crimson Tide in tackles. He was one of many players that entered the portal after Nick Saban retired after the Rose Bowl loss, and Ohio State gets the gain. He's a big add for this defense that just adds another playmaker and just another overall outstanding player for this Ohio State Buckeyes football team. Ryan Day has just absolutely crushed this offseason. They scored 3 points in the loss to Missouri in their bowl game, another loss to Michigan, and Ryan Day has really countered back. A lot of people were questioning if Ryan Day was going to be the future Ohio State, and a lot of people look at Ohio State fans and wonder why they don't like Ryan Day so much. All he does is win, but he can't beat their biggest rival. And in college sports, you're not asking for fans to be level-headed. Fans are short for fanatic, and that is the case, especially in college athletics. For this Ohio State team, everyone fully expects, me included, for them to be undefeated going into the game next year. But for these guys, they're not coming back just for a national championship, not just for a Big Ten title. It's so this group of recruits in this class do not graduate from Ohio State with an O in the win column against Michigan. While, yes, it's still January, I am leaning towards Ohio State getting the national championship and winning the national championship next year. Ryan Day is finally getting his team and is making the changes that he really needed to make, not just on the football field, but behind the scenes as well. And I think Ohio State fans have a lot to look forward to this upcoming season, and I think they have a lot forward to celebrate as well. As always, please like, subscribe, and thank you for watching, and turn those post notifications on. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think Ohio State does this season? Do you think they make the national championship, just make the playoff? Do you think they finally meet Michigan, or do you think it's another loss to Michigan this season?